Hey guys, welcome back to the Country Hobbyist, and we are in year 2 and phase 2 of fish feeding, trying to get these bluegill bigger to help balance the pond. And I bought a Moultrie directional feeder. It's fish and deer, but kind of pointing this towards the pond world with the directional feeder. A couple of quick things right out of the gate. If you're looking to buy one of these, I just want to give you a heads up. One, it does not come with a battery. So you got to buy this plus a battery. Plus, I also suggest buying the feet add-on as well, and it comes with these feet, these claw feet, and it comes with 3 of these hooks to drive into the ground. If not, the default setting is that right there. So to put these on, it's just as simple as getting them in there and sliding that on the hole. Then we're going to utilize that stake hole right there to set this thing in place. So with that, this is not a $160, $170 fish feeder. It is like a $240 fish feeder because you're not doing anything without the battery, and I think that those feet right there are imperative if you're going to set in an environment like we are, into grass alongside the pond. Okay, so the battery, it sits in this case. Notice too, right here, might be hard to see, this is the solar plug. You can get a solar for these. I don't know where we're at, if that makes sense, but the battery case just pops off, and there's a 6-volt battery here, plus or minus. I marked a plus just in case I lose this little cap. This cap does come off. And it just sits in here, and there's 2 little clips here that you clip to the positive and negative. So it's a little 6-volt battery. I thought when I first looked at this, pop out there, that you could use AA's or something, but it's set up for a little 6-volt battery or a solar charger. You can see that solar there. It's rechargeable, 6-volt, 5-amp. I just like to set it in there, and on the other side you can see the little clips, some alligator clips. They clip on those posts. Might be the easier way is just take that lid off, pop that on there, and now you can probably see it's going through its startup process. I found this little thing here to be kind of nifty to be able to pop off. I thought it was nice because you can take that off and charge it without having to buy the Moultrie charger. So get an idea of how far out this will throw feed, maybe about 12-14 foot. So you go into test mode. We'll only do 5 seconds here. Hit program. It asks for high, medium, or low. We'll leave it on high, and then it starts a countdown. You can see, maybe see, it leaves a lot of stuff here real close. So a potential drawback, if you're thinking you're going to need to get it out far, that's just not doing it. So we're just going to watch to see how this is. It doesn't help, the wind's kind of coming right at us. You can see from the waves here. But I do like that you can run a test on it, see how it's doing. A couple other things that I like, if you watch through the display, it tells you how many pounds of feed are remaining. So you tell it about how much you put in. It says, well, with this, you're going to have about 12 days remaining in your schedule. I like that. You know, lets you just know, like, hey, you need to put feeding this in 10 days, roughly. I mean, obviously it's going to be an estimate. A couple of downsides I don't like. I do wish it was thrown out further. I mean, if you look here, maybe this is just partly me, but you can see that with the wind blowing in, all the feed is just right in here, right up against the bank. That shouldn't keep bluegill and stuff deterred. They should come up here. I saw a catfish, about a 5-pounder, just working right through here on all the feed hitting the ground. I can see feed kind of on the ground. He was up here just pigging along with stuff that sank. So we are going to lose a little bit of feed due to that. So we'll have to adjust kind of accordingly for that. A couple other things I'm not a huge fan of. I'm going to shoot some sheet metal screws in here, or self-tapping, because if you watch, if I put too much pressure on this upwards, this thing will just slide. So I want that to be a little bit more stationary. I think they should have provided some type of locking mechanism here in the legs. And then same with the lid. We get wind, so with that I gave myself just a little tie off so that if it did happen to catch or blow, so this way, like if the wind catches it and blows it off, I've got a way to not lose my lid in the pond. I do not want to be replacing a lid on this thing. Along with the cons, I mentioned this already, like I find it really annoying, just it doesn't come with a battery. I'm not real certain, like the mindset behind that, like, hey, you have to have a battery, but we're not going to sell you one or provide you one. And it's kind of like, in my opinion, like a price bait and switch, so not a huge fan of that. That seems kind of cheap. The feet piece too, also another like add-on that you need to do. Maybe you wouldn't have to, but boy, I really would be not happy if I didn't have a way to drive stakes in the ground on these. And I feel like that should come in a package. I think, to me personally, it's to try to keep that base price down and get people to be interested in it, because you know they see the price that's under $200 and they think, you know, I'm willing to take a chance on a feeder for under $200. I'm that exact person. I really wasn't ready to buy a Texas Hunter like fish feeder for $1,000. I wanted to see, will this $200 or $160 one work? And then once I was already like committed to $160, like the battery, I don't remember how much it was, to say 25, and then the feed another 25. So I'm like, you know, in that plus 200 range at this point. I'm like, well, it's still better than 1,000 for my first feeder to see if this is going to do the job. So we're going to just keep watching here, see how they do. Catfish have already come in and started picking up. I just missed one too. Just hit over there. But catfish have already come and started eating food. Bluegill have been eating it. As they get more comfortable with this being here, they're going to get a lot more activity. Positives to me again are pricing. That's really the prime. That's really the primary. And then the benefits along with pricing, you get multiple feed times a day. So I can set up to, I think, 10 schedules a day. 10 schedules a day. Like I can have it multiple days. And you can set the feed duration and the time that it feeds. So like I'm doing like 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock for short periods of time. And I'll watch this over the next month. If I need to adjust my feed rate, I will. But that lets me kind of keep control of feeding smaller amounts multiple times a day, letting fish come in and out that they like to feed at those different times. So right now, I'm pretty happy. It's not perfect, but I'm pretty happy. Hey, if you want to watch more of me doing this Country Hobbyist thing and trying out different equipment and doing this stuff, working on here on our pond to try to get it in a little bit better shape, hit the thumbs up button, hit the bell so you're notified when I release new content. We do, my wife and I do content on hobby stuff that we do, from gardening to farming to trying to get this pond here back in shape and getting it a little bit more balanced. Hit the subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Thanks. Have a good rest of your day. So these two guys right here are a couple of the oldest fish in the pond. They're Japanese koi. They were put in here in about 1996. They don't reproduce. They do like to eat this fish food though off the bottom of the floor, the bottom of the pond. What's the bottom of a pond called? He's just hanging out there looking for these little pellets. Well, you can see him. There's about maybe 3 foot long, 2.5 foot long. We had a dozen. I think we have 5 or 6 left now. These two like to hang out with each other. They don't have names. If you got a name for them, let us know. I'll name them whatever. that catfish back too. I don't know if you can see him. Water's gotten a little cloudy from them, for those koi sucking up dirt off the bottom, but there's about a 5-6 pound catfish floating around right here too. One thing about fish feed, once a couple fish start eating on this food, all of a sudden it's like they broadcast to everybody that it's over here, and they'll start picking up. It'll get kind of crazy within maybe a week or so, especially since these catfish are back in business of wanting to suck down some fish food.